I think everybody would love to be able to vote to cut their taxes. Unfortunately, the cut is so severe. According to the Massachusetts Taxpayers Foundation, it could mean cuts as high as 70% of state budgets, which will then translate into also cuts at the local level. It will have an impact on schools up to a point. It will certainly have an impact on support for other local services like police and fire, and elderly services and others. So, and it's not that we're not trying to threaten anybody, we're not trying to scare tactics, it's just the reality is that whatever people believe there might be waste in state government or waste in local government is not waste to that percentage of 70% or even 40%. The Massachusetts Taxpayers Foundation has done a very credible review of where cuts can and legally and constitutionally be made, and it will have a serious impact. So people need to really think about it. It's not a question of sending a message. We know times are tough, and we're making the cuts now at the state level to try to comply with that. And I know local communities are doing the same. So it's really a matter. We're in a tough economic time nationally. Everybody knows that, and this isn't the time to try to send a message. The message has already been received.
Well, how likely do you think it is that question 1 will pass in Massachusetts?
Well, at the polling right now, it's pretty close. It's 50-50. So it's certain. And it was a similar question was on the ballot in 2002, and it got 47% of the vote statewide. So it's a very real concern.
When it comes to question 1, I think that passage of question 1 could have a serious impact on the way that local governments do business. The Mass Taxpayers Foundation came out with a report showing that local aid would be reduced about 71%. I think it'd be a serious cut to the communities, especially in Ashland, to lose $5 to $6 million a year and try and build that back up through our taxes. I don't think that would be possible. I think that we have to seriously take a look at how we offer our services and how government functions at the local level.
I mean, what exactly would it mean? I mean, real.
We really haven't taken a look at, really, does it mean, a certain number of positions? Does it mean, a certain number of services? I think we would have to, as a community, take a hard look at what community wants its government to look like. And that's what it would come down to.
I agree with my colleague from Ashland. I think the effects of this would be devastating. I don't think there's any way that towns could absorb that kind of a state aid cut without layoffs, without serious cuts to services. I think the people of communities would certainly feel the negative effects of this. So I think
what kind of services would get cut?
I think it would, in large, it'd be across the board. I think obviously there'd be areas that the cuts would not be quite as bad, simply because there are state mandates, federal mandates. But in areas where they aren't mandated by law, I think the cuts would be absolutely draconian.